You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matt and Aaron on Air. My name is Greg Bach. I am your host. You're listening to us on the Civic Media Radio Network. We're very happy to have you here today on this, our last live show of 2025. They haven't given me an echo effect yet, which I'm really upset about. But yeah, this is our last live show. Next few days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will be out skedaddle. I can't think. I almost said caboose Calvin. Calvin is, by the way, on the board on the ones and twos. He's feeling better, but he's got that deep, gravelly. Calvin, good morning. Just give it to him. I want to hear that. Give me the post-sick Calvin voice.
See, but then
there it is.
It could oscillate to squeak at any second, though. So
that's what gives you versatility, Calvin. Don't look at it as a bump. Look at it as a clear path to success. But Calvin is here. I am here. We're very happy that you are also spending your time with us. We have one more live show today, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will have a curated best of episodes, which will highlight our favorite moments from 2025, including discussions with Civic Media buddies, experts. Jane will be here. She will be here on the air. She'll be here pre-recorded. She won't be in the studio because none of us will be here. That would be ridiculous. Plus, she retired. So let's just be real here. But yeah, we got a lot of great show. We got Adam Hess coming in from WRCO at the other side of the 1030 news to talk about old-fashioned recipes, your thoughts on old fashions, and what are you drinking on New Year's Eve? Are you drinking bubbly? Are you drinking old fashions? Are you drinking soda? Are you drinking nothing at all? Are you drinking champagne at 7:30 and turning out the lights because you're like me and I go to bed before the sun goes down? I don't know, but I don't judge, and I love you for it. He'll be here after the 10:30 news, and then we're going to wrap things up with our thoughts on 2025, where we are, where we're going in 2026, and some glimmers of hope in the horizon. I hope so, because there's good things out there. But I could keep on talking for days. Tucker's like, move it along, guy. I want to bring in this next person. She's been here many times. She is, as christened by our favorite Jane Matenaer, our only Jane Matenaer, the genie of just about everything here at Civic Media, Miss Terry Barr. Terry, good morning. Welcome. How are you today?
I thought that that name may go away with Jane, but
why would it go away?
You're sticking with it.
Yes, absolutely. There's no way that is not just that's not a nickname. That's a moniker. That's a brand.
Oh my goodness!
In fact, I think
you just make me laugh.
I feel like
and it's so funny. You're talking about New Year's Eve and wondering what people are doing or drinking or going, and we're invited to a long-standing party. And I had to laugh. This year's invitation said we're starting early, 5:00. Because some of us are senior citizens and we must go to bed by 8:00. I'm like, what?
That's okay. Okay. We'll get to the stories in a moment. We got you for a little while. So I want to talk about that for a second here. First of all,
isn't it funny?
That is not a senior thing. I defend those who go to bed early. I go to bed early. It is a holdover from when I used to board Pat's show. I would get up and I used to drive to Waukesha. So I live in Kenosha. Yes. I would drive to Waukesha. That was a solid 50-minute drive, no traffic. So I would wake up at like 4:15 in the morning. So I would have to go to bed for a good night's sleep, for like a solid good night's sleep. I'd have to go to bed around 8:30. And I'm going to tell you, Terry, I don't do that show anymore. And I still go to bed as an average of 8:30 at night. And I love it. Okay. So I am a proponent for creating parties which work in your schedule. I will defend it to the hilt. We talked about this. I think you may have been on the show for this, but I went to a wedding in Texas 2 years ago where it started at 11, ended at noon, reception at 1, done by 5. I was in my hotel with pizza at 5:30. It was the greatest time in my life. I'm sorry, I have derailed it, but I think that's important. I think that's great. I say yay to you and your friends. Good on you. And I feel like that is, if it's a senior citizen thing, we can learn something from our elders and we respect their wishes. That's what I say.
I'm curious to see when the clock does hit 8. That is then indeed the new year at this party,
Hmm.
and the door opens and she says, "Get out."
Does that Wisconsin big stretch? Well,
Right, right. Oh, you know that will happen, but I wonder for how
yeah.
long.
And Alicia on the live stream says, I go to bed early. I'll probably be out by 8 on Wednesday. I told my wife, Bridget, this is the first time I think in 5 years I haven't had to work on New Year's Eve night. I don't like going out at New Year's Eve at all. I would rather be home safe, not on the roads anywhere near people with giant cars. But
I tend to agree, and as much as I'm kind of laughing about the
mhm,
timing of the party,
yeah,
I'm pretty okay with getting home before everybody else does.
yes.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. We said we're going to grab some champagne. We're going to grab 2 bottles, one for the
Ooh,
evening of, and then one for the next day because we have the day off, and we're going to have mimosas, and we're going to kick back. We're going to
good
watch
for
TV.
you.
But I told her, I said, and we don't have to celebrate at midnight. She goes, oh, I know. So I'm very much you and me, and a lot of other people too, Terry Barr. A lot of other people, Civic Media's genie of just about everything. That's sticking. So, all right. I love talking to you. I'm so happy you're here. But I want to talk about
Oh,
the
thanks.
stories you've been working on that are available on civicmedia.us/news. Really quick, I mean, a shout out to all the people who post on that page. We have
Yeah,
fantastic reporters all around the Midwest. I mean, not just Wisconsin. We
absolutely.
have Minnesota, we have Michigan talking about the stories that affect us locally, directly, and also have
Mhm.
reverberations to what's going on around the country. But I wanted to talk to you about the story that you brought to light to us. And I just want to get that correct here really quick here. It said, this is on Civic Media's website. Four reasons hunger is rising quickly across Wisconsin.
Yeah. And Greg, when you think about this, now I was talking with Second Harvest
Hmm.
and the gentleman there, he's the PR manager, Chris Tazalar. When he says we are in worse shape hunger-wise than during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, you got to almost let that settle for a
Yeah.
minute and think about it. There were so many issues happening back in 2020 and even into 2021. But now when you hear that in especially the end of 2025 going into 26 that we are in worse shape. And Second Harvest itself is one of these big models across southern Wisconsin. They support all the local food pantries. So he is hearing from all of these food pantries that are saying, we need more help. We have more people coming in than ever, historically high numbers in need of help right now. So, what they're also talking about and trying to really stress is we can provide the food. We will get you fed. We will try as hard as we can to make sure no one goes hungry. But the most recent numbers that he shared 147,000 people. Now, this is only across the area they serve. Again, southern Wisconsin are considered, without food, that they are insecure
Yeah.
when it comes to having enough food to eat, and that includes 40,000 children.
Oh my goodness.
And, yeah, we know we've heard stories where kids go to school where hopefully they get to eat. And I know some, folks also were talking about these kids show up and they haven't had breakfast. They didn't maybe have a full dinner
Mhm.
the night before. There are many schools now providing a backpack at the end of the week for the kids to have food to eat during the weekend.
Let me stop you right there. Just
Uh-huh.
so to clarify that. So schools are providing backpacks of groceries to children so they can eat. And
Yes.
and that is on top of being educators, administrators. That's
Yeah.
I mean that I don't know, Terry, like that both makes me so happy, makes me feel so good, but also breaks my heart into 1,000 pieces
Yes.
because, we've heard the stories that if they have the program, schools are sometimes the only place kids eat.
Yes. Many high schools, and you think about high schoolers, well, do they care? they are starting their own food pantries at some of the high schools. And again, I'm specific to like southern Wisconsin where I've had these discussions, and the kids stock it for the other kids that don't have food.
Mhm. I mean,
They're stepping up, which
there
is terrific,
yes.
but how did we get here? And that's where those 4 things come in, the
Yeah.
4
Yep.
reasons.
You know,
We have unfair housing, as
yes.
we know, and you've discussed this. How do you even pay for rent, let alone a home, you
Mhm.
know? So you've got that, you've
Yeah.
got, healthcare and trying to afford that, and we know how much of a discussion it has been in recent months. Finding a job with a living wage, that's number 3, and then number 4 ties into all of those, systemic racism. So again, where they say, "We can get you the food, we will get you the food," but pantries and Second Harvest, places like this can't do these other things. They need a bigger, I guess, an umbrella of someone to come in and help deal with these bigger issues.
If you're just joining us on Matt and Aaron Air, we are here with Civic Media's genie of just about everything, Miss Terry Barr. We are talking about an article that she published on the Civic Media website. This came out earlier this month, the 18th of December. 4 reasons hunger is rising across Wisconsin. And honestly, you know, when we talk about this topic, Terry, it can get mired in politics, and then that gets mired in arguing and get mired in division, and then no one says anything. We all walk away and say, well, that didn't do any good. But everything you
Right.
just mentioned are problems that need to be addressed. And when you speak about an overarching thing, an umbrella, I think where that is, it's not a church, it's not a business. They can be a part of the solution. Those kids
Right.
stepping up can be part of the solution. But what we need in this problem that affects everyone, urban, suburban, rural, farmer,
Your neighbor.
your neighbor, it touches everyone. This is not a politics thing. We need a solid and sustainable long-term investment from our local, state, and federal government on combating hunger for real. Not cutting programs which allow people to get a good meal, not cutting funding which take money away from our farmers, but actually saying we need to invest in this because it's worth it, because fed children, fed citizens produce more for the economy. It's not
Yeah.
just social, it's economic as well. And the numbers are right there. And we're going to keep talking about that on the other side of the break, as well as the work of one man here in Wisconsin trying to help those who were affected by the hurricanes in Jamaica this year. We're talking to Terry Barr. Call, text, questions. We want to hear from you. Thoughts on this. We're never going to stop talking about it until it's not a problem anymore. And I don't see it being not a problem anytime soon. But Terry Barr is here, the genie of just about everything here at Civic Media. Go grab some water, grab a snack if you have a snack. Be appreciative of that fact if you do.
Right.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. You're listening to Matt and Aaron on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay close.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matt and Aaron on Air. If you're watching the live stream, you just saw me finishing a text to my mother. Hi, Mom. You were listening to the show, Matt and Aaron on Air, on the Civic Media Radio Network. I'm your host, Greg Bach. I'm sitting in the chair, and we're happy that you're around. We're happy that you're here today sharing your time with us, because as we get closer to the holidays, closer to New Year's, closer to everything happening, we got less and less time to share. And the fact that you're here right now, listening, watching, we're grateful. And you can call or text, be part of that conversation, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on the live stream. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform in this house we still call Twitter. If you have the Civic Media app, which you should have right now, if you don't, it's absolutely free. You can leave a voice note. And as I've said many times before, you don't even have to like me to leave a voice note. But you can do that and keep up to speed with everything going on in the Civic Media universe, including seeing news stories there. News stories written by our guest, Terry Barr, Civic Media's genie of just about everything. That's what I call a smooth segue. Welcome back to the show, Terry. How have you been in the last few minutes?
I'm glad we're talking about some of these issues.
Yeah.
Food insecurity is a tough one,
Yes.
but we know it's happening. We know we can continue to help and support our neighbors. And that's, I think, one of the reasons I was really happy when you reached out and said, let's talk about this, because everybody helps around Christmas and the holidays in that way. But what happens after?
Yes.
And you just don't want to forget.
And something really quick I want to bring up in that article that I will put in the show notes that's on civicmedia.us/news is an added, something that adds to the impact is the SNAP benefit cuts. And this is where I'm going to put in my appeal, my plea, myvote.wi.gov. Go there, find your leaders, tell them what you want out of them. And specifically, I would like you to contact Derek Van Orton, who is the congressman of the 3rd District, who in one meeting said SNAP wouldn't go down a nickel, then voted 3 times for a budget that gutted it by hundreds of millions of nickels to keep people from being able to access the food they need. I think it's important to stay in touch, stay vigilant, require your leaders to lead. Myvote.wi.gov to find out who represents you. Tell them how you're feeling. Be respectful, but still, we have a voice in this country. We still have a voice, and you need to stand up and let it be heard. Speaking of helping, though, Terry, let's talk about a gentleman from right here in Wisconsin. A lot of times we hear these national stories. They have a Wisconsin touch. This gentleman is doing what he can to help those affected by, sorry, that's terrible English, the hurricane in Jamaica, essentially. And we have some audio that you brought along. Do you want to play that now, or do you want to wait? Yeah.
Well, let me tell you real quick.
Okay.
His Craig Bauman, he's a musician. He's also, you could say a handyman. He also runs a music store, a local music store in Waukesha.
Which one?
But for 20 years, he has helped either rebuild, build, restore, whatever he could, homes, huts, lean-tos in central Jamaica. He has fallen in love with the area and the people. Now let's hear from him. He'll explain it a little more so you understand why this means so much to him.
The Manchester Parish, right in the center of the island, Category 5, 200-mile-an-hour winds. There's some people that are just now getting in touch with me and other people in their lives. Phone call I got today was in Negril, and they're just starting to get some of the logistics back online so people can actually think about conducting business and doing what they're doing. There's just disaster status all over Jamaica right now.
How hard has this been for you to not really see with your own eyes what's happened there?
It's always pretty rugged there, but to see some of the video, the trees have no foliage on them, which means the fruit fell to the ground. It's going to take some time for a lot of this habitat to reform.
What would you say about the people that you know? In a way, you've adopted people there.
We kind of did a copy and paste to make it more feasible for us to not have to cut through so much red tape and to be able to really help people that need help directly as we see it, not just top-down type mentality. It's more of a ground-up thing, far more organic, and we've been able to just help people in the matter of a day or a half a day after we meet them. Sometimes we just help them and be on our way. We can continue to go there and interact with this community that we've really fallen in love with and have become a part of. I've been able to take hundreds of people there on these missions. I'll continue to do it as long as we can. And now it's a demand. It's something that is a necessity. It needs to happen because of Hurricane Melissa.
Now, that hurricane, Greg, happened 2 months ago. and why he's, upset. And I love his idea of building from the ground up and taking volunteers and just making things happen. But there are still places without electricity. There are people that lost everything. They're sleeping on the ground with whatever part of a house they could find
Mhm.
over the top of them to maybe keep the rain or anything like that off of them. And, he mentions the fruit trees. They eat that fruit,
Yeah.
but now even things as simple as that are gone. And a lot of this is in the area where he has been building or rebuilding for 20 years.
Oh.
So he's going to probably be rebuilding and building all over again when
You
he
know,
gets there in January.
I have to say that, I've passed this music store in Waukesha. I'm from Waukesha. I was born and
Yes.
raised. I'm a musician. I'm a guitar player. I may have went to high school with this guy or his brothers. I'm fascinated. I'd like to talk to him directly too and find out more, because for me,
Yes.
Waukesha is always a place that I want to celebrate because it's where I'm from. But this story will also be on the show notes as well. Terry is going to stick around. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk with Adam Hess from WRCO. We're going to be talking about New Year's cocktails, mocktails, going to bed early, and what we want out of 2026, because darn it, it's almost here. There's no stopping time, and there's no stopping the show. We're going to keep on moving. Grab a snack, grab some water. Be thankful for what you got, friends. You are listening to Matt and Air on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay tuned, stay informed, stay close. Good morning. Welcome back to Matt and Air on Air. My name is Greg Bach. I am your host. You are listening to us on Civic Media, the Civic Media Radio Network to be exact. And you can be part of this conversation. Say 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on the live stream. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform in this house we still call Twitter. Still, we got about a half an hour left, but there's great discussions happening. Don't go anywhere. Terry Barr stuck around. She's Civic Media's genie of just about everything. We're going to be talking also in a moment with our friend Adam Hess from WRCO. But after this, we'll be discussing 2025, where we are, where we're going. What are your thoughts? I saw some texts coming through. And, we're going to wrap it up. This is our last live show of the year. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be doing curated best ofs, our favorite moments from this year, including discussions with our very own Jane Manner. She's always ours. She's maybe retired, but she's right here in our hearts. She doesn't go anywhere. And she just texted me about 10 minutes ago. But we want you to be part of that. Call, text, leave a comment on the live stream, leave a voice note if you'd like on the Civic Media app. That's where you can also find articles written by Terry Barr and our friend Adam Hess from WRCO, who has returned again to talk more about all the wonderful things about Wisconsin. Good morning, Adam. How are you today, my friend?
Hey, good morning, Greg. Good morning, Civic Media. Terry, a great big good morning to you as well. So, Greg, I heard you talking about having like 30 minutes left in this segment, and the only question I have for you is 30 minutes long enough to talk about brandy old fashions?
Oh no! Actually, I put a request into our corporate friends up in Madison. Said, "Can I have half of Tom Hartman's show?" And they said, "Hold on. Let me get my notes here." They said, "Hold on." No. So we only have a few minutes today to talk about old fashions, but this is a conversation that never stops. We're just bringing it to light. And let's kick it off with an article that's on wrce.fm/news. And that is entitled, "The Perfect Holiday Cocktail Was Right in Front of You the Entire Time," by you, Mr. Adam D. Hess.
Well, thank you. The reason I named the article what I did was it's sort of a play on the whole movie genre. Like if you go to your favorite movie, and I'm not going to necessarily use Hallmark as an example, but let's say you go to the Hallmark Channel, and the joke always is their Christmas movies. Love was right in front of you the whole time. You just didn't know it. And if you take that line, Greg and Terry, that's every movie, right? Okay, it might be a prince or a princess or a school teacher or a radio disc jockey or a school psychologist, but the premise is the same. Love was right in front of them the whole time. Well, I'm a guy who I like to enjoy maybe a cocktail once a month, maybe twice a month, if you're at a supper club.
Mm-hmm.
And the variations on the brandy old fashioned, from sour to sweet to good to really, really bad, depending upon how they're made. But the cocktail's there. It's in Wisconsin. It's part of Wisconsin. So yeah, I wrote this article, and within the article, I also divulged my personal recipe.
Okay. Give it to us. It's right here. It's not secret. This is not chicken recipes. This is an old-fashioned for the people, because Adam is of the people. It's available on the website, wrce.fm/news. Give us your ingredients for what you believe is the perfect old-fashioned.
So the perfect old-fashioned, Greg, involves orange slices, maraschino or cocktail cherries,
Okay.
cherry juice from the jar, a sugar cube if you're fancy. If you're not fancy, regular granulated sugar will work. You're going to need bitters. You're going to need brandy. I recommend a VSOP brandy, but, even bottom shelf would do, because that's the reason the brandy old-fashioned was created, was for poor-tasting spirits. You'll need a lemon-lime soda and a muddler. Now, for the cherries, the bitters, the soda, and the muddler, I even included links on the website.
You did?
Article. Yeah, I did. So you can click to get a muddler for $7.29. Amazon can have that muddler to you probably by this afternoon.
I hate to break it to you, Adam, but the economy is hitting us really hard. That muddler is now $7.89.
Yes.
Well, that's a 70-cent jump since I wrote the story, which would have been December 24th. Take that back another week, December 21st. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So you know what? That just simply means, A, buy stock in the muddlers, and B, buy your muddler before the next jump. But so what you do is you take a glass, and I call it an old-fashioned glass, and it could be like a rocks or a low ball or any kind of a cocktail glass. Put your cherries, the sugar, and an orange slice in the bottom, and add a little bit of bitters, like 2 dash of bitters, and then you muddle it. So if you don't have a muddler, or Amazon can't get it to you, or you're not comfortable with that price jump, you can use the back side of like a wooden spoon.
Okay. All right.
And you can muddle it. Basically, you're crushing. You are mashing the juice out of the life right out of these pieces of fruit, and you're mashing the sugar. And at that point, then you are going to want to add your brandy. And I'm a shot and a splash guy. So for the perfect old fashioned, you take a shot glass and you measure out your VSOP brandy, and then you put an extra little splash in the top of it. Add in your ice. Add in your lemon lime soda, whether it's 7-Up, Twist Up, Sprite, whatever your choice is at that point. Throw in a cherry and an orange slice on top. Take a little swizzle stick and stir it all up, and pop a straw in there, and you have the perfect brandy old-fashioned.
Done. There it is. I mean, I don't think you get much more Wisconsin than that. And as people may or may not know, Wisconsin leads, I think, either the country or the globe in brandy consumption based solely on the old-fashioned itself. So,
yes.
Yeah. Terry, thoughts on this? Are you an old-fashioned kind of gal? Do you like them? Is that your drink of choice? Oh, okay. I don't know how you don't like them. They're delicious.
If it were 10:30 in the morning, wouldn't it have been fun to actually make it as Adam was describing it?
Oh, you know what?
That would have been fun.
We do. We need to live stream this with cameras and the whole. But let's get a show at about 4:30 or 5 in the afternoon to help us out here.
Perfect.
Yeah, and we will all just mix up brandy old fashions live on the stream.
Now, if you're out there listening, tell us what you're going to be taking in for New Year's. Is it going to be an old fashioned? Is it going to be some champagne? Is it going to be both? Neither. Are you dry and going NA? But, we want to know what you'll be having, raising your glass at the start of 2026, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on the live stream. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. I want to get into both of your plans for New Year's. Terry, you touched on it earlier before, but I want to talk about that some more. But really quick, I want to tell a very, very fast story. So a couple of years ago, my brother-in-law, who's a very wonderful man, Dr. Byram Ozer, he is fantastic. I love him dearly. He's one of, not only, I'm lucky to have him as a friend and as a brother-in-law and as a brother. We were traveling to Toronto together. We try to do a trip every year. We take a few days and hang out. We went to a bar in Toronto, and we looked at the menu, and it said old-fashioned. And I'm from Wisconsin, so I thought, okay, old-fashioned. And then I saw the ingredients, and it had whiskey instead of brandy. And for those who don't know, that would make it an old-fashioned sour, a sour, or what I found out, I guess, traditional. I said to my brother-in-law, they don't have a brandy option. And he said, what? I said, a brandy old-fashioned, sweet. He goes, nobody does that. I said, you went to school in Madison. How do you? And then to add insult to injury, he brings a third party in, the bartender, and says he's looking for a brandy old fashioned. He goes, and he looked at me and scoffed. He goes, we don't do that. I'm like, is everyone crazy in here? I didn't make this up. I was actually kind of mad because I'm like, look, you don't have to drink a brandy old fashioned if you don't want to, but do not deny its existence. It is there. We imbibe it. We love it here in Wisconsin. But still, I was like, I sat there incredulous, and I remember going, I'll just take a beer. And I was just so like, we need to move on from here. But I couldn't. Do you both in your travels and your discussions with people find folks who don't know a sweet brandy old fashioned or Wisconsin style is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Arizona, there's a Packer bar outside of Mesa that makes a great brandy old fashioned. But you go anywhere else in the greater Phoenix area, and they want to give you whiskey. They want to throw in some kind of a mixer. They won't add brandy. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
It's a mess. This is just get this out of my face.
Places where they didn't even know what you were talking about.
Well,
you actually had to help them make it, and it never turned out quite right.
I'm not a mixologist. I'm not a bartender. The closest I came to a bartender is I worked at a brewery, and therefore I pulled a lever and poured beer. That's the extent of my bartending. But is the difference between a sweet and a sour just the whiskey versus brandy, or are there different point? Okay, so it's different ingredients.
Yes, yeah. And
okay.
The sour, and we can talk about this after the break, but you involve olives and you involve a grapefruit type soda.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yes.
And that's the thing is, here, listen to me, folks, being accepting and wonderful towards the fact that people like junk old fashions, but that's not the point. The point is I'm not trying to deny its existence. We're talking to Adam Hess of WRCO out there in Richland Center, as well as our friend Terry Barr, who is the genie of just about everything. We're talking about cocktails we're going to be having at New Year's. I am not the biggest drinker. I mean, I'm tall, but I'm not the greatest imbiber of alcohol. And we'll probably just be having a champagne toast, and that'll be it. A mimosa on New Year's morning or New Year's afternoon. We don't have a problem. Terry, really quick in the time we have left in this segment, again, you're going to a friend's house, and it's essentially an early party.
Yes. They called it the senior citizen party because they want everyone out by 8.
God, I love that. I love that so much. You're friends with us. Adam, what are your plans for New Year's?
Well, I'm going to be more than likely just hanging at home with some friends and maybe partaking in a couple of signature mocktails.
There it is.
Because I have to be on the radio the next morning. I'm signing on at WRCO-FM. So I'll be there about 4 o'clock on New Year's Day morning. So mocktails it is for Adam.
Excellent. Well, hey, I would say, this is a conversation probably to be had in dry January. The state of mocktails and NA beer and wine and liquor have, just in the past few years, far and away grown and gotten better and better and better. Give those who don't want to drink, can't drink, another option if they don't want to just stick to soda or something like that. But that's great. We're going to take a small, quick break. But when we come back, we're going to be, you know what? Adam, you said you want to stick around for the last segment?
I'm game. Whatever you need from me.
Terry, are you down?
Same.
All right, cool. We're going to talk about our thoughts for 2025 going into 2026 when we come back. Let us know your thoughts. I'll read some texts, and we'll get your ideas on where you want to go for the new year, because time stops for no one, and we want to make it the best humanly possible. And that starts by helping those around us. You are listening to Matt and Air on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay tuned, stay informed, stay close.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matt and Air on Air. My name is Greg Bach. I am your host. You are listening to us on the Civic Media Radio Network. You can always call, get in contact with us. The number is the same whether you text or use the phone. It is 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on that live stream, Facebook, YouTube, the platform we still call Twitter. If you have the app, which you absolutely should, another pun, you can use that to call, text, leave a voice message, and just listen to the show live, as well as our music stations, as well as get your news. And speaking of news, I got two wonderful reporters here on the show from our Civic Media stations. We have the genie of just about everything, Terry Barr, as well as WRCO, Richland Center's son, Adam Hess is here. We're talking New Year's, we're talking cocktails, and this is our last show of the year live. We'll be having curated best ofs coming up and pre-recorded our favorite moments from the show for you. So you can tune in and listen to what we think were the best discussions, best conversations here on the show, including discussions with Jane Matnair, our friend who retired earlier this month, deservedly after a monumental 4-decade-plus career here in radio in the industry. So you want to tune in for those. But right now we're live with our friends Terry and Adam. And, you know, we talked about what you're doing for New Year's. We're talking about like our celebrations on December 31st, whether we're staying out all night and partying or we'll be in bed by 8:15 after a small sip of champagne. But I guess really quick, what I want to get from the both of you, and please feel free to share this as well with us. Terry, your thoughts on 2025 and 2026 and going into 2026.
Oh, sometimes I wonder if we have lost our sense of wonder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we find everything so quickly, all the information. But with everything that's happened, I think the other thing that makes me really proud of people I know is getting involved to try to make a difference in whatever way that is.
Mhm.
You know, we've talked about the food pantries, but looking at the bigger issues, I am just really proud of people that are stepping even out of their comfort zone to try to make a difference and have their voice be heard.
Yeah. Brett from Brown Deer says, I'll welcome in 2026. He's listening on WAUK. He'll welcome 2026 in the morning with a cup of coffee and a big old wake and baked lasagna. I'm just going to say it like that. Wake and baked lasagna. It's a big lasagna, and it should keep you going for the rest of the day, Brett. Sorry. There we go. Adam, what about you? Thoughts on 2025, and what are your thoughts on moving into the new year?
Yeah, well, for 2025, when you're doing the best of show, you may have to re-curate, because anytime Terry Barr is on your show, it instantly becomes part of the best of. So you guys may have to reevaluate what you're going to be airing the next couple of days. 2026, Greg, one thing we have to remember, just wear your T-shirt with this advice on it. Don't be a jerk. That's all we need, right?
Yeah.
Don't be a
Perfect.
jerk. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who the president, the governor, the school board, the town council is. We're all still human beings. We're all still part of the United States, and we're all Wisconsinites. And we need to get back to that. We need to remember that. We need to put leadership around us that remembers that, and we just need to strive to be better.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that that's something we when we want to move forward, as Wisconsin's motto, we need to move forward together.
Yes.
I want a couple other comments here on the text line. Coming from someone, John from Milwaukee. Great content, guys. Terry Barr was also a great guest too. Thank you, John. Very much appreciate you reaching out there. Roger in Stevens Point says, Greg, I found a sparkling bottle of cranberry juice for New Year's Eve. I hadn't been able to find a sparkling cranberry juice for a few years. I'm glad you were able to do that. Alicia on the live stream provides some thoughts. My thoughts, 2025 was the fastest year of my life. 2026 promises to be another full year, and I am full of hope for it. I want to read something also before I give my thoughts and we sign off for the rest of the year. Earlier today, we were talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, the article in the New York Times, and being hesitant, being skeptical. He said, this is John from Oshkosh listening on WISS. I don't trust MTG at all. Understood. I understand that, John. The damage she has done to her state and our country are immense, and I want to wait to see how this plays out before giving her an ounce of credit. I understand that, and I just ask you approach it with an open mind. You can be skeptical, just don't be cynical. Let's see where 2026 takes us as far as who becomes part of the fight for, as Adam says, Wisconsin, for this nation, as Americans, as a global community. But I will say 2025, my thoughts on it basically are this. It was a stressful year for many, many reasons, personal, professional, as well as just being in the world around you. And I will say this, that I can point to more than one example, whether it's in my personal life or how we as a community came together, helping those, chipping in, making sure people stay fed, making sure people stay housed, voting in a way that represents a democracy that includes all people, moving us as a people forward. In all the stress, there are more than enough examples showing how we as a people come together and do better and do right. And that gives me hope for 2026. It may sound hokey. I'm fine with being hokey. I'm a hokey guy. I can't be cynical. I have to lead with hope. And that's what I'm hoping for 2026. And I hope that Terry, and I hope Adam, and I hope Calvin, and I hope Tucker, you all have a great New Year's. I really appreciate you all being here today with me.
We appreciate
Same to you.
Same back with you.
All right, folks. That's it for 2025. We will see you next year. Again, I want to thank...
Oh, man.
I know. I want to thank...
You are hokey.
And we love it.
Exactly.
We love it.
Yeah. I want to thank Calvin. I want to thank Tucker. I want to thank traffic. I want to thank engineering. Without you, none of this happens. I'm a guy talking into a microphone that does not work. I want to thank the listeners, the viewers on the live stream, those who text, called, commented. Even if you don't like me, you gave me your time, and I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. Without you, there's no us. We have plenty of show coming. We have plenty of programming ahead. Don't go anywhere. After the top of the hour news, we got Tom Hartman and then wonderful programming throughout the day. I want to say Happy New Year. Stay safe. Stay warm. You are loved. You are awesome. Let no one tell you differently. You're listening to Matt and Aaron on the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay tuned. Stay close. Happy New Year.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.